You are welcome back to Tuntum Network, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cyrus. I'm happy to have you here once again. I want to thank all those who have been a part of my journey for the last 6 months. Finally, I have hit 1,000 subscribers, and I couldn't have done that without you. For those who started with me all the way through till now, thank you so much. God bless you. Today, I want to look at 3 countries: Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria. I'm looking at which one of these countries will be most suitable to live in, depending on what you find more important as a human being. So let's take a look at this. There's a lot of things I'm going to unpack, and I hope you stay through the whole episode so that you'll be able to appreciate the research that I did. And moving forward, I promise to bring you even more interesting stuff concerning Africa, African countries and cities and the people, things that has to do with the improvement, the prosperity of Africa. Thank you so much. So in trying to figure out the route to go in able to deliver this episode, I first had to take a look at how much the currencies are trading on the market today. And I'll give you those figures quickly. This morning, 1 Ghana cedis is trading for 67.3 naira. 1 Ghana cedi for 67.3 naira. 1 rand is trading for 41.4 naira. And 1 Ghana cedi is trading for 1.63 rands. So on the surface, it would appear that Ghana cedi is doing quite well. But don't let that fool you, because at the end of the day, you have to look at what can you do with whatever amount that you have in which one of these 3 countries in Africa that you be living at any point in time. But as a person who has traveled widely in Africa, especially living in South Africa for 2 years, I understand that there are key indicators that you always have to look out for in deciding on where you want to go and live. Okay, things that are more important than just forex exchanges. Okay, things that has to do with the cost of goods and services in wherever you are or wherever you plan to go. The ease of getting things done in that country, the corruption perception of that country, healthcare, accommodation, cost of education, cost of renting and accommodation. I mean, all these things will have to be factored in. So I continued with my search, looking at what would be a decent life for anybody living in these 3 countries. For some people, decent life mean differently. I mean, there are people who would want to just have a place they can rent, okay, and have a 3 square meal every day, and that would just be about enough with just an ordinary job. But for some other people, that is just not enough. They will want to have a place of their own, their own house, and then own their own car and have their own business, all right? Take their kids to a better school and have a healthcare policy, all that. But all in all, we all know that safety and peace of mind is quite important. So I did a search on that, looking at countries based on their safety and peace of mind as you live there. And I went on numbeo.com. And this is their statistic for 2023. And they have Qatar at the top, meaning that Qatar is the safest place to live on earth now. In respect to these 3 countries that I'm looking at, I took South Africa first, and this is what I found. South Africa was placed at 139 safest place to live. Really? They are just above Afghanistan? I mean, Afghanistan is where the war has been happening for years now. So I was quite shocked. I've lived in South Africa, but I don't think it looks like Afghanistan. It doesn't look anything close to Afghanistan. And then I looked at Nigeria. They are around 130. And Ghana is around 63. So the lower your number is, the more safer it is to live there. But as a person who has traveled widely, I know this is not necessarily the case in the entire country. There will be places in a country where it's totally unsafe and other places where it's safe. And it cuts across every country. Just as in Ghana, in the northern part of Ghana, there's a place called Boko, where since I was a kid, it has never been safe. Chieftaincy conflict with political influence all mixed up there has made the place so unsafe for so many years. So it all depends on where you find yourself at any point in time in any of these 3 countries that I've listed here. But if peace of mind is so paramount to you, then at this point, looking at this statistic, you would choose Ghana. And clearly, Ghana is where you should be. And I encourage you to travel to Ghana if you haven't. Ghana is a beautiful place, but it's also very safe and very quiet. It is a small population compared to Nigeria and South Africa. and the traffic is not that bad, okay? There are a few things that are going well for us. So if that is your priority, if you want to find a safe haven, then perhaps you should think about Ghana. But you also know that that is not all that it takes when you're considering where to live. You also want to look at the ability to find a job, the ability to have opportunities to prosper and be able to live in a place among your own people. All right, there are a lot of economic reasons why people move from place to place, even political stability. Then I jumped on to the next on the item, which was your ability to find a job. And doing that, I went to the globaleconomy.com. And I have a few stats here for the 3 countries which are very, very interesting, starting off with South Africa. And the number I'm seeing here is not very, very nice. South Africa has been placed at 29.8% of their working force, or people who are able to work. Talking about people from 18 to somewhere 60. That is 29.81% of those people are unemployed. Really? That is quite high. Looking at the average that they gave to the 52 countries in Africa, they gave an average of 9.53 on the globaleconomy.com website. So if you're above 9.53, it means your country has a lot more unemployed people. And if you are below that mark, it means your country has not so much people unemployed. Then you look at Nigeria. Nigeria is 5.76% of people who are eligible to work who are unemployed. And Ghana is 3.87%. But again, I'm looking at the case in South Africa. If you have 29.81% of people who are not working, which is almost like 30%, that actually means that out of every 10 people that are eligible to work in South Africa, 3 of those 10 are unemployed. That is quite terrible because South Africa has so much resources in order to provide jobs for its people. The third thing on the list is the prices of goods and services. And I strongly believe that this particular point is equally as important as the first 2. And I'll tell you why shortly. Because no matter how much money you are earning, wherever you are, it has to translate into what you can do with that money in the country you find yourself in, whether in a city or wherever. It must be able to translate. I'll tell you a story of when I lived and worked in China. I worked there for more than 5 years. And in that time, I was earning about 6,000 renminbi. 6,000 renminbi at the time was about $1,000. Now, on every month, I'll have to spend about 2,000 on my rent and 1,000 renminbi on other things like electricity, water bill, transportation, outside of food. So I was always left with about 3,000 renminbi to buy food and to also save. But at the same time, because of how good their economy was at the time and the prices of goods and services, I felt I lived one of the best lives I've ever lived in China. And I'm thankful to the Chinese government. Now, I'm going to give you some stats here. These are staggering stats. We are looking at minimum wage. In South Africa today, the wage per hour is 25.42 rands. All right. So if you are working 8 hours per day for 30 days in South Africa, you are making somewhere around 6,100 rands in a month. Now, if you convert that 6,100 rands in a month into Ghana cedis, you are making somewhere around 3,693 Ghana cedis. And then 247,600 naira in Nigeria. Then I also took a look at how much people in Nigeria are paid. And on the internet, there is a flat rate that is thrown there. 30,000 naira per month. 30,000 naira per month. So I converted it into rands and I had 738 rands per month, which is way below how much people are being paid in South Africa. And I converted it again into Ghana cedis, and that was about 447 Ghana cedis. Meaning that people in South Africa are being paid way higher than people in Nigeria. Interesting. And then I moved down to Ghana, where our minimum wage today is 14.8 Ghana cedis. Now, if you do the math, okay, if you are doing 14.8 Ghana cedis per day and you multiply that with 30 days in a month, you are looking at 446 Ghana cedis a month, which is almost equivalent to what people in Nigeria are being paid. But that is just about 726 rands, still way below what people are being paid in South Africa. So if you are looking at where to find a job and earn more money, then you have to go to South Africa. You have to go to South Africa or you have to go to Nigeria even before you come to Ghana. But I don't think that is how much people are being paid actually in Ghana. I don't think people are being paid 447 Ghana cedis. I think people are being paid more than that. And I can be sure that people in Nigeria are also being paid a little more than 30,000 naira. So in looking at all these monies being thrown out here, my next question is this. What can 6,000 rands do for you in South Africa? What can 30,000 naira do for you in Nigeria? And what can 446 Ghana cedis do for you in Ghana? Is it able to rent a place for a month? I live in Ghana now. And if you are not living in the city center, somewhere far, like 1 hour away from the city center, you'll be able to rent a single bedroom for 100 Ghana cedis, which is a little over 1/4 of how much you are earning a month. How about the money you earn in Nigeria? Is it able to rent you a place for a month? And in South Africa, I remember when I lived in South Africa, I paid rent of 2,000 rands per month. And it was pretty simple. It was a single, bedroom with no toilet and no washroom. But they had a common place where we all took our bath and then we went to the toilet. It was sort of a student accommodation, so I could understand. All right? In Accra today, if you are spending 1/4 of that money on accommodation, you are going to get something similar to that. You are not going to get a single bedroom self-contained, as in having toilet and bath in the bedroom. It's not common. You have to spend more than that. And then again, I looked at opportunities. In which one of these three countries are you more likely to find an opportunity that can better your life financially? Okay? And because I said this earlier that I lived in China, I thought to myself, it will have to be Nigeria because of the numbers. In China, I remember they had a lot of multimillionaires for one reason. The moment you are able to come up with something in form of business and sell and catch the market, because they have more than 1 billion people, you are more likely to make profit in a short period of time. And so a lot of young people in China at the time were multimillionaires in US dollars. And it's the same thing that is happening in Nigeria. If you can find one thing that can make you money and one thing that people are interested in, the moment you get the market going, it becomes a big hit. And then it's more likely for you to make a lot more money. That's what I mean. So if you are looking for a place of safety and peace of mind, if you have the money to spend, then you probably have to think about coming to Ghana. And I will advertise Ghana to you on any given day. It's peaceful, it's beautiful. But if you are looking for opportunities, then you have to look at Nigeria, looking at their market. But if you are looking at getting a job and getting a higher salary, then you go to South Africa. So each of these countries have their own advantages, and it all depends on you. By the end of the day, is it worth traveling, leaving your country? My answer to you will be yes, because I traveled a long time ago, somewhere 2006, I left Ghana. So I always tell people it is good to travel if you get the opportunity, especially when you are moving to a country that is better than your own country. So do your research and travel, because when you travel, you are exposed to other opportunities. In my local language, we have a proverb that we say, "Ye you baby ako baby," meaning that if where you live now it's not helping your situation, it is always advisable to try what is happening in other places. You will never know. You may be sitting on your hands and wasting time, and you'll be aging, and before you realize, most of the opportunities you could have tapped into are all taken. When I traveled, I had the chance to go and teach English in China. If I had never traveled, I wouldn't even know that such an opportunity existed. And today, people are embarking on that trip. So if you have that chance, I would say take it. You will never know what will come out of it. So there you have it. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment if you have to. And thank you for being a part of my podcast. Until I come your way again, it's bye-bye for now.